welcome to another Work and Watch Wednesday. Good morning, everyone here from Divots and Pivots. I am your host, Andrew Leduc, joined by my co-host over here, Bud Copeland, and we have a fantastic pivot episode for you today because, we do have the Canadian Open going on to the north of us this week. But let's be honest, there is a lot of things going on in the golf world this week that we just feel like we need to talk about. So we're going to touch on the Canadian Open, but sit back, buckle up, pretend like you're doing your work, whether you're in the office, or pretend like you're paying attention to the road, whether you're driving on the way in, whatever you're doing. Pay attention, but listen.
I can get us sued. I just watched the West Wing episode where the president gets sued by somebody in the seatbelt lobby. No, but to your point, I just railroaded you the way that the LIV Tour has railroaded the news cycle, the golf world, Twitter sphere, online, everything. I mean, it's gonna be a fun nugget to kind of chew on and digest here. But as you said, we got to give the tour its due. And regardless of, I was about to say irregardless, both my sister and my wife, so this has been going on my entire life, have had this thing about the word irregardless. But irregardless of that, we're going to move back on to the RBC Canadian Open. RBC, funny enough, dropped both Graham McDowell and DJ when they left for the LIV Tour. And I heard one of the funniest jokes online. It was floating around when DJ found out. He said, "I still don't know what RBC stands for." But the Royal Bank of Canada, quick funny story about Canada. I grew up in Tallahassee, Florida. Fans of the show know this. And my sister was a sports information director at Florida State, getting her master's in communications. And so we used to go to a lot of the baseball games. And back then, Mike Martin in his prime in the 90s, all-time wins leader now. He, I think, don't quote me on that. Don't at me. But anyways, we would go to a lot of the games, and especially during the regionals this time of year, College World Series time, it'd be nuts. Their first base fans are known as the Animals. Back in those days, the third base coach Chip Baker would leave a bottle of tequila out there for them. But they started a tradition down at Florida State where in the middle of the sixth inning, I want to say it is, because eighth inning is Sweet Caroline at Fenway, but in the middle of the sixth inning, they sing "Oh Canada." It was an homage to an old Canadian player that they had back in the day. They just felt bad for the kid because nobody got his national anthem. So they started a tradition. So look it up. You go down to Florida State, you get a baseball game. It's a great experience at Dick Howser Stadium. I've actually played on that field back in the day, but that's another show for another time. But there's my quick aside about Royal Canada. They sing the Canadian national anthem at Florida State baseball games. But
I did not know that.
See, you're always learning here.
I'm sure most people didn't. So yes, you are educating everyone.
There's going to be at least, we're talking 4 or 5 people who hear that and go, yeah. Because I've got a Tallahassee contingent out there. Go Noles. I'll say it every once in a while. The best thing that ever happened from Florida State athletics was Mark Richt, because he came to Georgia. He got Georgia out of the mud and the muck, and he's just a really, really nice dude. Him and his wife are wonderful human beings. Anyway, back to golf. We're in Canada.
That was an unplanned tangent on Florida down there. But yeah, we are going much further north to Canada, as you said.
St. George's Golf and Country Club, right outside of Toronto. Not a relatively long track, 7,000 yards, par 70, bent grass greens. And the scuttlebutt around the course, this Stanley Thompson Classic. Stanley Thompson, by the way, Canadian course architect, founder of the Association of Architects of America's. That's not the actual one, but he's the Golf Course Architects Association of America, whatever that one is. He founded it. He's a classic guy, but he's another one of those names like Tillinghast, McKenzie, Jones. He's definitely a name to be reckoned with. And this week, scuttlebutt is that they're not taking a back seat to next week's U.S. Open. They're setting the course up tough. It's going to be a lot of rough that you're going to see that in Brookline maybe, and the greens are going to be running fast. They said I just saw that they had them at a 12.5. So we're talking about and you also look at the lineup of folks who showed up there. The names are there. If they're not in London, they're in on just outside of Ontario or Toronto. Don't at me, Canada.
Yeah, it is a pretty decent.
It's solid.
Lineup.
It's deep.
Yes, I'm rolling through it right now to see who, like, just some of the some of the names that might be lower priced here, but yeah, it's a decent lineup for the Canadian Open. And like I don't know if you mentioned it yet, but this is the first time we've had it in the past 2 years. It was the only tournament I think you said that COVID shut down for 2 straight years.
Yeah. And by the way, if you've never gone to Canada, which God, you got to do it. I mean, they're good people. They're kind of like Aussies. They something about Commonwealth folk. They're good people. They like to have a nice time. Come have fun, be merry.
Yep.
So I think the crowd's going to be really big this week. I definitely think with what's going on over in London, they're going to even be a little more kind of juiced to show up, show out, show a little bit of pride. It's a national championship too. I mean, at the end of the day, you talk about these guys, things that matter, wins that matter. And I'm not going to put it up there with other national championships, wink, wink. But it's a big deal. And I think that's why guys like Justin Thomas, Rory, Scheffler, Tony Finau, they're all, they're all there and they're getting tuned up for next week. That said, because I'd say this unforeseen meteor, but this is almost like the meteor or the comet that was out there and NASA's going, 1 in a million. And then all of a sudden it's a week out and it's like, guys, we got 50-50 and now impact, is imminent. And it derailed our DFS research. We've been doing nothing but gossiping about the LIV Tour.
So true. Than like high school girls.
I'm going to give you my quick and dirty on DFS this week. Go with chalk. I know, fight the urge to be smarter than you think. The off-course stuff, like, your buddies are over making 3 times what you're going to make this week, and you're grinding your ass off, and they're getting chauffeured around. Speaking of chauffeur, we're going to talk about the U.S. Open and a unique setup there in a minute. So look for the cream to rise again to the top. This is not an off week for these guys. They want to win. They want to win bad. There's no kind of, I know as fans be like, it's hard to go back to back. They don't think like that. They think shot to shot, not week to week. So,
well, like you said, if they're setting it up in a way that it does line up to be a perfect kind of practice tournament for the U.S. Open, like you said, it's big. The tournament itself is bigger than a practice tournament, but some of the guys who do well this week may very well do well again at the U.S. Open.
I'd look for that. Now, I'm gonna be a hypocrite. Shocker, and go back on or just be the guy I just said I didn't want to be, or was making fun of. But I do think it would be hard to go back to back in these 2 weeks because of how hard they're going to have the course set up and everything that goes around it. So that said, I say don't be shocked if a JT Scheffler, somebody who's in good form right now, a name, let's put it that way, and don't be shocked if roars. I mean, I'm gonna go Ben Crenshaw on you, a little homage to Brookline. I got a funny feeling about this. No, but Rory's the standard bearer for the PGA Tour. He's the guy who's got the deal with PGA Tour, or not PGA Tour, the Golf Channel, which is PGA Tour. Golf Channel, Golf Now. He just released another app that's supposed to be this golf engagement gamemanship kind of app that's mixed with instruction. So he is all in, and he's publicly talked about it. But here's my other thing about Rory. When the reporters wanted him to come out and say, ban him, get it. He's like, these are my friends, and they're doing what's best for them, and I'm doing what's best for me. And I think, and I really hope in the media who want to stir stuff up doesn't show up in this, and we embrace it for what it's going to turn into, which is what it's going to turn into here in about 45 seconds. By the way, so RBC Canadian Open, you have any input, any thoughts? I know you were just saying it's your favorite tournament of all time. And you've always wanted to go to, where is this? No,
I didn't you?
Yeah. St. George's Golf and Country Club. I didn't even write down the name of the town, though. It's a tiny town right outside of Toronto. I don't know why.
See, I've been to Toronto. Toronto's huge. I've been to Toronto. Beautiful, great city, though, but massive. Did not expect it to be that massive when I went there.
And the weather's going to be blah. It's going to be a little bit rainy. It doesn't look like thunderstorms or heavy rain. So it's just going to be kind of like New England, kind of.
Well, then I mean, like I said, I did most of my research this week was on the LIV, not on stats, but on the storylines. So I am ill prepared for the Canadian Open. But just in looking at who is there, I think you got some guys who have been playing well this year. At the top, like I would expect. Well, right now Rory McIlroy is playing pretty good. I like him. If it comes to those higher price guys, you know, you got Scheffler, you got Thomas. Smith right there. Smith seems to be picking things back up, but I like Rory right there.
I mean, we've got major winner, icon, players champ, major winner, Sam Burns, who's on a heater. You go top. I mean, this. By the way, Matt Fitzpatrick chipping cross-handed. Check it out. I just saw an article on it. He said he started chipping cross-handed.
That's crazy.
I saw him do it, and it gave me the same kind of like bad goosebumps that you get when you see something that makes your skin crawl. Like if you're not a pimple popper person and you see somebody popping pimples, that's what I got when I saw him chipping cross-handed. But these are all guys who are hot right now, and I think that's what's going to happen. You heard it here first, folks. A good player is going to win the tournament.
Shocker. And then someone who is interesting is someone who's been playing well recently that we've kind of jokingly talked about, but I think now we need to at least give him some credit with his current form. And when you look at his season stats, he's doing all right, actually, is Mr. Brendan Todd. He's showing up again down there, 8,200.
I love that you said that. You know why? You know where he's not going to show up? Next week at the U.S. Open. Homeboy didn't make it through final qualifying on golf's longest day, Monday. I'm not. By the way, I am not knocking Brendan Todd. We are full. Yeah. I am full team Todd again.
Yeah.
Especially after I've eaten humble pie at the last two qualifiers myself. So
that's true. We'll get into that a little bit later too. We'll finish up the Canadian with the last couple thoughts here.
Before we go any further, so Canadian's done. Shouts to Canada. I know the entire Canadian national anthem too, not the French part. Don't get me started. But last week on the golf course, real quick update from Boudreaux's league. I had 6 birdies on the weekend. 6, count them 6.
Okay.
And the format was fun. We played now. Really, I would say I had 4 natural birdies, and then the other 2 were because of the format we played. The format we played was every hole was a par 4. You played the par 3s from the backs, par 5s from the fronts, and then at the end of your round, you go through and you cherry pick your 9 best holes. So it's just your lowest 9 on the day. It's actually a pretty fun format because
it's best ball version in golf
of yourself. Yeah, like it's like a best. That's actually the best. It's like a best ball card for yourself.
Well, what I'm referring to is the DFS format for. Well, it's not DFS, but the fantasy football format, best ball. You don't set your lineup. You just pick like however many guys. I think it's like 24 guys, and it automatically sets your best lineup every week.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
So you draft it and then you just let it ride for the season. So it sounds like it's similar to that. You just pick your best holes at the end.
Well, I did actually. I drafted a Piper Gold off the first tee, and that's what led to a low 9 of 30. I had 6 3s and 3 4s, turned into 30. Won the weekend.
Nice.
That means free golf for Boudreaux, but 6 birdies landed me in the birdie pool again. So I am now up 200. Actually, it'll be 260. Sorry, 260 on the year.
Yeah.
So we're trying to hit 1,000 by the end of the summer, and maybe buy the missus something a little nice.
Yes, like a vacation to somewhere where you have a golf tournament, right?
Listen, if I said, honey, we're not going down that road.
Smart man.
Moving right back along. I brought that up because I want to say thank you once again to Piper Golf for coming into my life. Yes. Thank you for. I am not gonna lie. Here it is. Honest feedback. Day 1 with the Piper Golds, not impressed. You know why? Scuffed a little quickly on me. Went back through my round. Trees and cart paths will do that. It had nothing to do with me because I went through Saturday's round with going through 2. Yeah. 1 I lost on the 3rd hole, which was fun because in this format, it was almost like match play. Like, okay, well, F it. That ball's lost. I'm not even going to finish the hole because I'm going to not use that score. And then I use the next one for the rest of the round. And they're soft, and you don't lose the distance. And I do this kind of like weird Dave Matthews face when I'm looking at that, because it is weird. I didn't want to trust him. I was skeptical at first. So shouts to the boys and girls at Pipers Golf. Pipers. And as always, thank you so much to In the Clutch apparel. As soon as the Celtics win the title, that's when you will see some In the Clutch on me. But I can't. I mean, let's be honest. It's playoffs, and
you gotta wear the right one.
Yeah, I can change the hat up. I've got my PGA Championship hat from my boy out in Tulsa. It just came in the mail today, or yesterday, whatever. Yeah. So, back to you in the studio.
So we're done with the Canadian Open, and we've now touched on.
And story time with Uncle Bud.
We've now touched on the story time of your golf. So that pretty much leaves us to LIV, I guess, to LIV, whatever you want to call it. And, I find it interesting because you mentioned how you expected to be a little bit louder up in at the Canadian Open, or like a little bit more juice behind the fans. I do find it interesting because the way that the LIV Tour is pushing. Like one of their, I guess, slogans is same louder. Golf but louder, or something like that. I might have the wording wrong, but it's it's still golf but louder, or something along those lines.
Some pun around being loud.
We'll see. Yeah. Well, so I guess you're right. We'll see if we see the fans take notice and what they do, how they react, or if they even care.
Andrew, you are an artist at heart. You know as well as I do what that loud is referring to. And it has nothing to do with humans. It has everything to do. What's the latest TikTok song? My money don't jiggle jiggle. It's that like almost British sounding like robotic voice.
Yes.
That's what that is. I'm not going to say I'm in, right? Like I don't need to get blackballed by the PGA Tour. No, I'm joking, but I'm in. Like I want to see what this has become a thing. I think I said it months ago, right? Mm-hmm. I thought I do still think they screwed up with the rollout, and we'll get into that.
Mistakes were still made.
Things were said, mistakes were made, yes. Approaches went. And because Rory was right, Colin Morikawa was right, and the guys that are not over there were right in the sense of, you're offering a lot of us something that is not the most important thing. It's like we've got money, and some of them are going, but they've got more.
Some of them, that's what they want. It depends on where they are in their career or just their whatever.
I was skeptical. I was like, listen, we got tournaments, we got locations, we got purses, we got Slugger White is their rules official. I mean, they've got big name players set up for this thing. Yeah. And they're almost taking the Field of Dreams. If you build it, we will, they will come. And here we are because we're here. We want to see it. I want to know more about it because the names started showing up. All of a sudden, it's like, oh shit, this is real.
And we're going to get into some of these names because looking at the team, and we'll explain this too. But looking at the team rosters, I was surprised at the amount of. Not even just names that I would know that are in here, because obviously I look at golf all the time. But I think there's a lot of names in here that a lot of casual fans are going to recognize as well. So I will be curious to hear the feedback, especially once Bud here has not looked at the teams yet. He hasn't seen the entire player roster yet for the tour. So we're going to get into that live and get his live
I was about
reaction.
To say, full disclosure, the closest I've come to seeing this field is maybe the top 16 names. Whatever y'all seen on Instagram or the or the Twitter sphere of those graphics that came out, it's like top 16 names confirmed. Like that's really all I've seen. Not even top. I have heard scuttlebutt through some podcasts of somebody else, but I'm just curious because now that the names are here and now that it's real, I mean, let the conspiracy theories about. Now, the dope thing about this is the format's intriguing, right? Andrew just referenced teams. So this is a team format, both at this event and throughout the year. Everything when you talk about teams, everything from having team captains to having a draft, which happened, by the way, sneakily happened last night. So it's work and watch Wednesday once again here on Belly Up Media, Tiki Live. But it happened sneakily, and that's when we were talking just before the show, and I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean team names? I was like, what are the team names? Who's here? So we're
not just team names, they got logos, as if they're baseball team logos. That's what they got.
And you already tipped your hand by comparing them to baseball team logos.
Well, they're not all. I'm just the one that happened to be right in front of me has that baseball field. The rest of them there's a wide range of style of logos.
All right, before we start picking apart logos and names, format is important, right? So I mean, we don't necessarily we don't need to go through hole by hole. I'm pretty sure it's just stroke play, and then there's probably going to be different. Like it's your team, right? You want to go low and go hard. That's the name of the game. But basically, you get these teams, and it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 18 holes, shotgun start. So right there, quick pause. One of the biggest complaints about sports today is they take too long. And that's why even Mark Cuban floated an idea for MLB. And if they don't jump on it, they're idiots, where you can start subscribing to your own personal players. And that way you can just watch only their highlights when you want, not even highlights. Like you get a little notification on your phone.
Chipper Jones now or something.
Right. Back in the day for me, it would have been Chipper Jones is on deck and then you just pull it, whoop, click in. So that's kind of this thing where, all right, we're going to shorten golf and it's going to be one round, not one day. Now, the old model was, and when you're the only game in town and, you know, that's where the eyeballs have to go, you have everybody for all day. Now, here on the East Coast, how many people on Thursday? I mean, I've already got my hand up. So if you're listening, my hand is already raised. How many people are going to wake up on Thursday and tune in to LIV for 3 or 4 hours, maybe 5? I mean, it's round one. I don't know. It's 3 or 4 hours. And then they're going to pivot over to Golf Channel coverage of, you know, it's not like it's taking away yet from my life. So far so good. Shotgun start, that's going to be fun. The whole idea.
Well, and what I like about the shotgun start too is that, you know, it's not like you're waiting around for the signature group or whatever. You're gonna be it's gonna be nonstop shot action from everybody who's playing at the same time.
And no cuts. So it's 3 rounds, no cuts. And by the way, real quick about the money, you're going to hear a lot of numbers thrown out there. And there's two categories of numbers. A lot of these guys are getting signing bonuses. That's legit. That's what it is. They're getting basically an appearance fee. Boom, sign this check. You're going to be in all of our events for this year. Oh, and here's the cherry on top. If you win, $4 million. If you don't win, if you go out and shoot 80, 80, 80, first of all, your teammates are going to hate you, which we'll get back to that in a minute. But second of all, 380s and you walk away with 120 grand.
Yeah.
The
money, the money's there. Yeah. There's no doubt, and that is another part of this, and that's the main reason why this tour. The tour is getting its hate because it's seen as being in competition with the PGA. But I mean, the other factor is that the money is coming from, you know, a group and an organization that, I mean, I can't say has a what's it called? I can't say has what's the word?
Listen.
Look, there's the human rights aspect to this that people find sketchy and supporting this because of where the money's coming from.
You can't separate it. Right. Exactly. It's one of those things where you can sit with people and say, oh my God, Chevron is sponsoring the ladies major now, and fossil fuels, oil, climate change, etc. You can go down some of those moral, ethical arguments just like people will. You know, it does get a little different when you talk about maybe human rights violations, some of that kind of stuff. That said, how far does that go? You know, who manufactured the T-shirt that you're wearing? What does their government do? You know, there are layers to that. So that's why but why you brought it up, and I'm so happy you did, is because that is an aspect of this. One of the journalists, sports journalists, talk show hosts, guys I look up to the most. Dan Patrick was talking about it today, and he was very nonchalantly being like, it's a check in your conscience. Like, not on your conscience, it's a check and your conscience. And by the way, he wasn't judging them. He even said that, I'm not passing judge. He goes, I know what I would do, or I don't know what I would do. He's like, I'm saying you have to check with your conscience. This isn't like any other job opportunity. You kind of need to. And who are we to judge on that front? But like you said, it is an aspect of this. So the money is there. There are some connotations with it. But then again, the events are not being held in Saudi Arabia, and how many degrees of separation do you allow money and organizations to go before you let it impact your life? I think it's a great, hypothetical when these reporters are saying to those guys, What, how do you square this, that, the questions that we would expect them to ask, or, maybe think. I wish one of them would go, would you do it?
Yeah.
Like if the Saudi government said, we're gonna, you're a journalist, the Saudi government said, we're gonna launch a website, news media outlet, here's $150 million, we want you to run it.
Mm-hmm.
Just pause. Like it does put things in perspective. So that's why I love all aspects of this. But the best part about it is going to be the golf. It is going to be the entertainment. It's going to be the 18 holes. It's going to be the fact that who gets to start on one hole. Also, I went back to you shoot 80, you shoot 80, you shoot 80, and you cash a check. Hell no, you don't. These guys have pride. These guys are really, really good. I mean, even some of the names that we're going to go through here that you're going to be like, oh, damn, he's there? Like, oh, my God. And then some of the names that you might have never heard.
As someone who didn't even see the top 16 list when it came out, so all these names are fresh other than obviously Phil and Dustin because they've been in the news the most. But so I didn't even know, like when I saw some of the names in this list, I was surprised by a lot of them.
So that's why and so as we go through this, I'm glad we touched on that early because it's going to be an overarching theme this entire time. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it necessarily needs to be a topic on every bullet. Like some people are going to try to make it that way.
Of course,
But I mean, if you're single issue about something, you're single issue about it. And that's your lens, and that's fine. So that being said, so we got. Oh my God! All right, let's do this. Who are teeing it up at where is this place? Is it the Centurion Club? I mean, these events don't even have names, by the way. It's not like
it's just London. It's just LIV London, and
then
end of June is going to be LIV Portland, and then
in September it's going to be LIV Boston.
Exactly.
So and when you talk about sustainability, this is Saudi Aramco oil money. This is endless pockets of. It doesn't, they really could probably go through the 100 top 100. I mean, they offered Tiger almost $1 billion.
I know. I saw that.
And I mean, and shouts to Tiger for sticking around. Again, it's one of those things. You do get to a level where it's not going to, that doesn't, that kind of money's not going to change his life. But I also don't, I believe that Tiger probably gave the offer its due. He probably was not rude. He probably was not disrespectful. I'll tell you what, he probably never actually got on the phone with anybody. It was his people. But he probably had the conversation, said, thank you, no, thank you. I appreciate the outreach and blah, blah, blah. Because also when Phil Mickelson said, these are scary motherfuckers, the Saudis, pardon my language. He wasn't just talking out in the sense that they're going to go, Khashoggi you. Mm-hmm. And to steal a line from an Aaron Sorkin show in the newsroom, these people drop Brinks trucks on you. So if they didn't, this LIV Tour is kind of like a shot across the bow. And I wouldn't be shocked if within 5 years, they're either acquired by the PGA Tour or the PGA Tour is going to take the next 5 years to find some sponsors, build up a war chest and say, now unveiling PGA Tour Select, which is going to be 5 events throughout the year that only the top 50 qualify for. And by the way, to those players,
does it replace the WGCs as a different type of format?
Yeah, look at the schedule. WGCs are gone. The match play is still there, but the rest of them are kind of dying out. And by the way, if there's an article a little while back that was they basically served their purpose, which they was created 25 years ago to expand the game globally. It's done. Now
it's global.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about LIV London. Well, who's playing at LIV London this week?
All right, so here we're gonna go team by team here. So the first team here is the Four Aces, and granted, all these team names have the team name, and then every single one of them have GC at the end of it. So this is Four Aces GC.
LIV Golf Marketing and Communications. Call me. I'm a freelancer.
Don't worry. There's some ones in here that you're gonna probably cringe at. That the Four Aces is making you react like this. This is Dustin Johnson's team, and he is paired with Sean Norris, Oliver Becker, and Kevin Wan. Yuan. Y-U-A-N. I'm probably saying that wrong. I apologize.
Sure. All right.
Yeah. I honestly don't know any of the names on his team other than him.
No, and that's it. Well, that's how it's going to be sometime too, right?
But we'll find out. We'll learn about them. So then the next team is the HY Flyers, the High Flyers. This is Phil's team.
But HY?
Yeah. This is HY Flyers, but I'm assuming they wanted to be called said high flyers.
But I don't understand, what is HY supposed to be short for something?
I don't know.
Oh Jesus! All right, let's keep going.
So this is Phil
right.
Mickelson. This is Justin Harding. This is an amateur is on this one, and I cannot say this name. Okay, I'm gonna try. Ratchanon, and then in quotes TK, and then the last name is Shantananuwat.
It's a 1 hour show.
Yeah. So he's there, and then Chase Koepka's on that team as well. So we got Brooksy's younger half there.
Good for you, Chase. I like to see that. Go, buddy. Chase, so hold on, we got Phil Mickelson and Chase Koepka together.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
How long till we start seeing them in a sponsorship deal somehow, somewhere? Keep going.
Oh boy, that'd be interesting. And then we got so the next team name is Punch.
I like it.
Just Punch. Looks like Punch. It's captained by Wade Ormsby. I said the B and the S backwards. Matt Jones, Ryusuke Kinoshita, and Blake Windred.
Matty Jones gave an interesting interview about this. The Aussie, he was, I mean, that I think if just this many teams deep, we're already seeing two. That's how it was kind of like serendipitously placed there, saying, "Yeah, this game's gone global."
Yeah,
the WG, and this is picking up and expanding on what the WGC did, which is like, let's come on, let's keep going. So let's keep going.
Well, and what's funny enough is that as we get down to some more of these teams, it becomes more of a grouping of known players on the same team. So it's going to be interesting because those teams could clean up. But then the next team here, we got cliques.
I like it. Do you know what a clique is?
I actually don't. What is a clique? Explain.
It's an old golf club. It's just before we had numbered clubs, they had nicknames for them. Niblick was one of them. Mashy.
Well, that makes sense because we'll get to it. But Niblick is another team name on here. We'll get
cliques.
to it later.
I like it.
So cliques here, and that one is captained by Martin Keimer. He's got Pablo Larrazabal with him, J.C. Ritchie, and Ian Snyman.
I mean, listen. If they're there, then they can play golf. I don't count anybody.
Oh yeah, yeah. So and then the next one is Ironheads, and this one the logo for this one looks like the Harry Potter font. So it's a bit interesting looking. But this one's captained by Kevin Na. So we had Kevin Na on this one, which was one of the bigger names on this list for sure. And then Saddam Kaiwakanjana. Okay. Hideto Tanihara and Viraj Madapa. This is the entertainment for the show is me pronouncing all these names tonight.
Well, and actually, I'm glad you just said that too. I'm so appreciative of everything you say, Andrew, because one of the things people forget that it's not just incredible. It's not all the way by itself. Greg Norman in the LIV league is tied to the Asian Tour. So people think when they hear Asian Tour, they think just PGA Tour Asia, and it's like, yes and no. Like they have some sort of relationship there, but obviously they've got relationships with other people. I mean, they're I was about to make a dirty joke, but so that's why, I mean, a lot of these players are not going to be familiar to us. And I love what you said earlier. We're going to learn about them.
We are, yeah. But some of these guys are known guys on other tours around the league that are tours that are considered qualifiers for the U.S. Open.
Open,
a lot
Masters,
of these, exactly.
All right, keep going. Who
so
else we got? Real quick. Also, Kevin Na, he was the first one that we see come out and quote unquote officially resign from the PGA Tour.
Yep.
I think all the shit that he's getting for it is both, earned and not. I love that. What's his face? Grayson Murray, the recovering alcoholic, tour parting shots on the way out. I told you on the Mexico range, you're not going to be missed. He said PGA Tour rounds just got an average of 20 minutes faster.
I
love that, and I love that. And it's not the last we're going to see of Kevin Na.
No, of course not. I don't think so.
It might
take a year. We'll see, but whatever. But so that was the Ironheads. The next team here is Smash. Just Smash.
Oh, I already respect this. Is this Graham McDowell?
No. This is Siwon Kim.
Okay.
Scott Vincent, Genichiro Kozuma, and then I know this name, but I've always struggled with it. Itipat Barana Taniyara. I can never say it, but I know the name.
The Barn Rat?
Yeah.
Is the Barn Rat there?
Yeah.
I love this guy. This dude, Chiefs darts, like doesn't give a shit. He's, and I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. He's kind of like the Asian John Daly. Like, you want to root for him. You like him. He's a bigger guy. I don't know why I'm so stuck on him smoking heaters. And I think there's just something endearing about that. But I like that the Barn Rat's out there. And I don't even think he's smoking. I think he's vaping. I got to look that up. But okay, cool. Yeah. The Barn Rat.
All right, and then these are where we get into some interesting team constructions as far as the players on them, and these are some of the teams that I think can do some damage here. So we have the Crushers. The Crushers are captained by Peter Uihlein, and he's joined by Richard Bland.
Those are actually two big names from the DP World Tour.
Yeah, and then Fachara Kongwatmai.
Bless you.
I butchered that. And then Travis Smith are on the Crushers.
Can we talk about those two names back to back real quick?
Although I will say Smith is spelt with a Y, not an I.
So probably Smythe, but
we don't need to get into grammar. Wouldn't it have the E at the end if it was Smythe though?
Probably.
I don't know.
But the more important question that we need to follow up on later at some point is what is the DP World Tour? What is their reaction to all this? I haven't even looked into that. What happens? What happens if like the DP World Tour is like, yeah, we're cool, dude. Just be back before midnight. You do have your obligations to this tour, and as long as you fulfill those, we don't care what you do with your off time. Like if all of a sudden they're the cool, like which they might be the cool mom in the neighborhood. Yeah, and, so that's
where things could get interesting for the PGA at that point.
I do because like Phil made a good point. He goes, I've earned a lifetime membership. I'm not giving that up. Hopefully, I mean, and he even kind of said, like, I understand there might be some consequences, but then at the same time, and I do think there should be, but I also think
that would be a bad look for the PGA to pull a lifetime membership, especially from Phil Mickelson. That's a bad look.
And Dustin Johnson. People forget DJ's. He's there now. He's 20 wins, major, the
True,
whole bit.
Yeah.
I think it's just time. He has to be older before he can actually get it. I don't know if that's true or not. Fact check.
Yeah, I don't know the exact either.
Go to the next team name after those DP World Tour boys. Bland
so then we get the Majestics here, and this is basically our English.
Is this a WNBA team?
Well, do you know what that sounds? Yeah, this is. Although they spell Majestics, I just noticed this right now. Majestics is spelled Maje, MAJE, and then sticks, like with a CKS at the end. So this is the Majestics.
Majestics.
Yeah. But this is like these are our boys from across the pond here because it's captained by Ian Poulter. He's joined by Lee Westwood. They have Sam Horsfield and Laurie Cantor.
Dude, that's actually so far.
It's a pretty solid team, right?
It's also the team I want to go play with right now. Like
Yeah,
that would be a fun crew to be with. All right.
Oh,
who else?
They're the ones ripping shots up at every tee box right there. That's that team.
By the way, Ian Poulter, sneaky good social media follow.
Well, and then we got so there's that team. What I think is interesting is the team constructions here. This is what I want to get to is that, we pretty much have an English team there. This next team is pretty much South African. We got Louis Oosthuizen. We got Henny Du Plessis. I can't say that one. But we have Charles Schwartzel and we have Brandon Grace.
Carl. It's Carl. Brendan Grace. No, that's another solid crew.
It is. It's a very solid crew, but that's something that maybe that the LIV Tour might be able to kind of lean into here is that if these drafts, if their team captains are going to start picking guys that they're comfortable playing with from either their home countries or not, you might get these de facto like country rivalries with each tour, or where you're getting that extra juice in the field there for the entertainment value.
Well,
it's not a bad thing for them.
Who did you pick for your team in gym class? The people you knew. I mean,
exactly.
It's like, and if you didn't know, then you just kind of went by the most objective thing you could. It's like, all right, what game are we playing? Tag.
Exactly.
And then you started looking down the line and looked like who would be good at tag. All right, keep going. I like this.
All right, so I'm sorry. That team name was the Stinger. It's just Stinger, not Stingers. Stinger.
Just glad it wasn't Shocker.
And that is not on any of these. So no, there's no Shocker. The Fireballs, which I think has the cheesiest logo out of all of them. It's a golf ball with a big smile and sunglasses with flames coming off of it. But that's neither here nor there. The Fireballs is
sounds like a little league softball team.
It looks even worse than it, honestly, for the logo. But that's neither here nor there. Sergio Garcia, that's his team.
Fitting.
Yeah. And Sergio he's actually got, so it looks like there's 3 amateurs on this first tournament here. 3 total amateurs. 2 of them are on this team with Sergio. So we got David Puig and we got James Piot as the 2 amateurs, and then we have Jediah Morgan. That's going to round out the Fireballs.
Did you just say James P?
I thought you would like that one.
Well, I mean, and he's got the little A next to his name.
Yep.
Interesting move. Well, first of all, I think he wants to keep that because he's got. I think does he still have entry into the U.S. Open? I don't know.
I believe so.
But even if he didn't have that, I'm just curious if he's holding on to that to go play in this just for the experience, knowing that he can't take any of the money. But is Live Golf saying like, all right, yeah,
we'll pay
we can't get name, image, and likeness. Let's put it that way. All right, cool. That's dope. Who else we got?
All right, and then the Niblets, your other old club. I've learned something today. The Niblets are captained by Graham McDowell, Bernd Wiesberger, Turk Pettit, and then Oliver Becker.
I like it. I mean, names out
like an old school. It's like an old school team right there, which makes the name of Niblets kind of make sense.
So I mean, yeah, that does sound like a 1927 British or Open Championship. Wow, I almost got banned by the RNA.
And then our last team is Torque, and their logo looks like it belongs on the sign for a gym. But Torque is the team name. It kind of makes sense with 2 of these guys, I'd say. Taylor Gooch is the captain here. Hudson Swafford.
Shouts!
Yes, Hudson Swafford, Taylor Gooch. They're going to come in big hit. And for Torque, Adrian Otagui. And then a name we haven't heard in a long time, Mr. Andy Ogletree, is going to round out
former USAM winner, Georgia Tech guy. Haven't really seen too much of glasses since isn't he the guy? He was wearing glasses. Skinny kid from Georgia Tech.
All I know is that he was on the like the original Tiger, like PGA Tiger Woods game, but EA Sports put out. He was one of your options to pick. It was Andy Ogletree. I remember. Maybe not the original, but it was like Tiger. It was like 2000 or something like that. PGA Tiger Woods 2000.
Man, I think actually okay. So now that we've done this, I got to pull him up because I think you're confusing people. Where's Andy Ogletree? Where are we? Down here at the bottom. Andy Ogletree is a young guy. Yeah, 6'1", 180, 20. He's the 2019. He's the 2019 USA.
Okay, so isn't there an older guy who was on the tour who's also named Andy Ogletree though? Or was there? I think it was
Alec Ogletree.
Oh, maybe that's what I might be confusing the first names. Then it was a while ago.
All right, so first reactions to the field and team names. You go first. And
like I said, the field is it's impressive, more impressive than I thought they were going to be able to put together. So I if I had to grade the field, I'm going to give it a solid. I'm going to give it a solid like B+ here. So I think they've got enough big names in here to draw some eyes that I wasn't sure they were going to be able to in the first tournament. That's the thing. This is the first tournament. They've already got another like 8 tournaments lined up.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah, 6, 7, 8 tournaments, something like that. So, I mean, there's going to be some more names that jump over here for some of these other tournaments. We're going to see this kind of shuffle around a bit. The field for the very first one, I'm impressed with. There's some good names in here. And then, like I said, with the format of it, with the team, I think the way the teams were constructed with who the captains picked, I think is going to create some good entertainment value. Because I think we're going to see some guys enjoying playing golf out there together and having a good time, yet still playing top-level golf. So I think there's something there. Now, as far as the team names go, I think they're them and the logos are cheesy. I just some of them were all right, but like I don't know, like the four aces and the high flyers, I couldn't. I get the cliques and the niblicks, like those are nice homages, but like the fireballs and torque and stinger, like crushers, it just feels like I'm playing backyard baseball golf version or something like that.
Oh, backyard baseball is so good. Well, you're giving Phil $50 million a year. You gave DJ 125, and it's interesting to hear about how the money goes out. You know, these signing bonuses are basically, or their appearance fees is another way that I've heard them described.
Yeah.
But Phil, his referred to as $50 million a year. DJ's was they gave him 125 million. So I'm going to be curious to see how long these guys stick around, because also the way that Phil was tied to it early. Obviously, through the leaks and everything. And what we're coming to find out is everybody's heart is in the right place. We already addressed the whole conscious thing earlier. That's going to be the elephant in the room, or I almost made a very, very insensitive joke. But that's going to be there. That's going to be there the whole time. But to hear Dustin Johnson today talk about, like, I intend on playing in the majors and I'm resigning from the PGA Tour for now.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, what about the Ryder Cup right now? He's like, I don't know, man. Hopefully rules change. I do think rules are going to change. I think the
PGA is going to have to.
They're going to have to. First of all, Jay Moynihan he's not two things.
Yeah.
He's not a dictator, and he's not an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why he can hold his ground, kind of like the USGA and their US Open. I keep scratching it like a bug flew in my nose. The USGA just released their statement on it, right? Because now it's like, well, shit, you let these guys play in the US Open. And they were incredibly careful about their wording to say, we have no intention of changing our field right now because people have entered it under certain set of requirements.
And I think they did the right thing in the way they handled it.
Oh, for sure. They
definitely did.
Mike Wan is not. He is very, very good at what he does. The LPGA Tour was not in a position to take the steps that they're taking now 10 years ago, and it's because of Mike Wan. So that was obviously the right call, but they worded it carefully, because we're idiots if we don't think that the RNA, the USGA, all the key players, they're all getting in rooms right now and on Zooms going, what do we do? Or when do we talk about this? They could also be saying, like, fuck it. Why do we have to do anything? Let them do their thing. Mm-hmm. We'll go through our season, then we'll sit. But I doubt that. I bet right now they're planning, because they're gonna want to capture this. It's too fresh, too new. They're comfortable in where they stand, and I say they being the PGA Tour, with legacy and gravitas and everything like that. So still a proving ground.
Yes. They're not going to lose that.
No, but LIV Tour might have gotten what they wanted, which is look what money can do. And so why don't you work with us and don't fight us on this, and we'll scratch each other's backs. The money that you don't have, we can pump into this special opportunity for players that, hey, what if the only way to qualify for the LIV Tour was to be in the top 50 of the PGA Tour? Like, you never know where these kind of partnerships.
It acts as like a bonus structure,
right? Like because the PGA Tour also has access and some agreements and some deals that will sunset, but nobody's going to sit around. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, well, 3 years," because this is too hot and too fresh. So I think it's going to go one of two ways. Like I said, either some sort of acquisition or partnership with the LIV Tour, or they've got a lot of people in a room right now already designing some sort of Super 6 series that they call for the PGA Tour.
To counter it directly.
Yeah, because let's be honest, the Saudi government in those pockets are deep, but we're talking about the U.S. economy and the GDP. We're talking about a very small list of people who all know each other, and their money all kind of. I'm not gonna say it's an insider game. I'm trying to get all conspiracy theory with the cabal here, but. Yeah, if Anheuser calls IBM, calls AT&T, calls Coca-Cola, and they all say, "Hey, we have an opportunity here to kind of, create this monster. Let's go after it and let's squash." Because you mentioned it earlier, there are going to be people in these boardrooms who are going to take offense to this and saying, "Damn it, we've been putting on the Travelers for 60 years now, and I'll be damned." Or the RBC Canadian.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a coincidence that they just told their two spokespeople on either side of the pond, Graham McDowell and DJ, to hit the bricks. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, line in the sand. You chose your side. So before anybody goes further on this week and judges anybody for making decisions, just pause real quick and try to remember where this all is born from. Because I do think that Greg Norman's heart is in the right place. I applaud him. I applaud Jay Moynihan for standing firm on the brand, because the PGA Tour,
Sure.
I don't want to say they're nobody to be trifled with, because they're not the mafia. They are the standard of excellence. They brought, without the PGA Tour, there is no LIV Tour. You know, there's that kind
Of
of.
course, yeah.
So I don't think they're going to go away, and I do think that there's going to be some sort of truce in the long run. But really, I think after all it's said and done, it's probably way simpler than I'm making it out to be. The LIV Tour is going to continue to do what they're going to do, and the PGA Tour is just going to amend their rules to say, sure, you want to go play in your off weeks, you get. They might say there's fewer of them. It might be harder to get, but instead of saying, you get apply, you get 2 a year, and you pick when you want them. That's it. So anyway.
Yeah, there's gonna be like you said, it might take 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, or maybe less, but there's gonna be at some point 5 years max. There'll be a coexisting, or like you said, acquisition 100%. I don't see how that's not gonna happen, as long as it shapes up. And look, they haven't even swung. LIV hasn't played a hole yet, so we'll see if it is. We're assuming it's going to be successful based off of what we've seen so far, but we'll see how that turns out. If it does, accomplish what they're hoping to accomplish when it's actually time to play the rounds, the PGA will want it at some point if that's the case.
Yeah, because I mean the format, it's all too good, and for somebody to say like, oh well, the money's going to run out eventually. Money ain't going to run out, and they've got a pretty solid base here. The names that you just read, that's enough to crank out 6 quality golf tournaments.
Yeah, like I said, and that's the very start. And there's going to be more names that are going to float into here too. But I was very impressed with the baseline field that we have here for the tournament 1.
Yeah, these are the people who wanted to go over to London. What happens when, pardon me, what happens when it's in Portland, Boston, Chicago, courses that what happens when, and again, back to my boy Dan Patrick, what happens when the scuttlebutt starts? These guys are all friends. They all talk to each other, and it's like, wait a minute, where are you guys staying? What kind of car service do you have?
You tell me Miami, there's not going to be more names. The last one they have there's going to be some names that show out to play in Miami with this type of service coming from this league. There are going to be some names.
Speaking
of
Miami,
at that point, like I said, at that point, that's late October. That's one. Miami's starting to get a little cooler down there. So it's a bit more enjoyable to play, temperature wise. But also, that's where what's it called? That's the last one out of these stringer tournaments. So they're gonna have built up what they want to build up, like that. People are gonna be more used to it. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some big names show out in Miami at the end of this tour here.
Oh, that's exactly how it's planned, right? Let's be honest. They're not not
dumb. If we could figure that out right here in 2 seconds, it means they've spent 4 months or longer planning it out so that we noticed it.
I like that you said we figured it out, as if they didn't leave big old breadcrumb trails.
Yeah,
they basically just left like a doobie and then a pint of Ben and Jerry's. A doobie, a pint of just follow, guys, go, because they're smart. And as we sit here and talk about it, it goes back to what the USGA and how they approached it, which is like, all right, cool. This year we're going to live and let live. Everybody do their thing. And at the end of it, we're going to talk. And speaking of talking, speaking of the USGA, next weekend.
Yes.
Is it next weekend? Not this. Yeah.
Not this coming weekend. No, but on the 18th. The weekend of the 18th.
This upcoming weekend, I'll be watching the LIV Tour event and then tuning over to the RBC Canadian. But next weekend, next Saturday, the Clubhouse in Middleton, Massachusetts.
We'll be there 4 to 7. 4 to 7 if you're in the area, and you're gonna get to either. You're gonna do whatever you want. You'll be able to come and meet us, watch us play golf on the simulator.
We're wonderful people.
We're gonna do a show live. We're gonna have some giveaways. One definitely confirmed right now from Piper Golf. You're gonna be able to, in some form, enter to win a giveaway for one of their hats. And you can choose between either this hat, the pipet hat that Bud's holding up right here, or one of they also have another style hat that I don't have. I don't have it myself because I also went with the pipet hat, but they have another style hat. You can go on their website, piper.golf, and see that. But we confirm we're going to have a giveaway for that. Use their balls as Bud is getting whited out right now, but there it is. The Piper, those are the golds. I use the Piper blues. So yeah, that's going to be, we're going to have that. We might have some more giveaways as well. So stay tuned. We're going to start flooding the social stratosphere with.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you can't show up live, you can still participate and win. We're just saying
yes. Yes.
We're going to go plant our flag at the clubhouse at Middleton for the third round of the U.S. Open the day before Father's Day, because obviously we're both fathers. We like to spend Father's Day with our family, but we're going to spend Saturday with one another, with you, with the folks at the clubhouse at Middleton. We're going to play. We're going to play we'll play 9 here. We'll play 9 there. We might do some range work. We're going to talk to some folks. And something else we're going to kick off next week that I didn't tell Andrew about, but I ran it by the boys upstairs. We're all good to go. Is next week we're going to set a lineup. He and I on next Tuesday's show. Next Tuesday's show is going to be a normal show, but we're going to start setting our own mock lineup. I mean, you can set 50 in DK. I can set 3 in DK, but he and I are going to start going head to head, and we're going to find out who's doing their homework, so to speak. And so,
okay, you're not allowed to use my sheet anymore. Then
I would say actually that's fair.
I'm kidding.
No, because here's the point. We have the same information. Shouts to the boys and girls at Fantasy National Golf Club for making us smarter and making you smarter. If you're not there, you need to be there. But no, we always draw different conclusions. So we're going to set a lineup and then we'll follow up. This is on Boudreaux to keep track. And the other thing is I can finally pay up. I owe you at least 6, if not 12 Budweisers. Thanks to Corey Connors. I should pay in Labatt Blue, a la Corey and the Canadian Open RBC this week. That's how it comes full circle here on Divots.
It'll be there.
So from top to bottom,
yes.
RBC, get chalky with RBC. Don't sleep on LIV. And it's going to be online streaming. That's where the future is for a little while. Mm-hmm. And then if you're going to be around Middleton or Boston and you want to come out and see us at the clubhouse, do it. Otherwise, tune in on Tiki Live /Twitter.
Oh,
Twitter Live.
What was that?
57 minutes and 7.
Oh, we have our new promo.
Oh,
fantastic.
Hey, in honor of Top Gun Maverick, crashed and burned right there. Damn.
That was fantastic.
Andrew, take us home.
You did make a great point, though. Even if you can't be there, if listeners who are just watching, listening, whatever, can also be involved in the giveaway. So we're going to make that work for you. Stay tuned for the socials postings. You'll figure out how you can enter and how you can find us. We're going to have all the information out there. We're about to be pumping that out every day, multiple times a day. So get ready. If you want to go, you'll have the information to go. So we'd love to see you guys. And yes, just rub that golf ball in your face as you try to get over it was great. I'm sure it's a website out there somewhere. We're just not condoning to go for it on this show.
It might be a T-shirt pretty soon. And real quick, I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to the commission, everybody over at Belly Up Media for letting me once again crash your airwaves. Check it out. This Bud's for you. Or if you're listening to this, you probably have my cell phone number. So thanks for tuning in.
Yes. And as always, thanks for joining us here for another Work and Watch Wednesday. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the LIV this week. Enjoy the Canadian Open. And then get ready for the U.S. Open. It's coming to both of our backyards here in Brookline, Mass. So we're ready for it. So you get ready for it. We love you guys. Thanks for the support. We will see you next week.